I'm Brenda Dinas, and I am on the Shakespeare Garden Board, and I'm the historian, so I get to keep all of the pictures for the scrapbook and the photo albums.
So tell me, how did the gardens originally get started?
They started with Mrs. Shea. She decided she wanted a Shakespeare garden, so the administrator of the college gave her the land right behind the administration building. And it was an alfalfa field, so the students had to come up in the spring and dig out the alfalfa before it could be planted for flowers. All of the beds are original beds. They all have the same rocks that were when it started. The students had to go up into the hills and bring them back down. It was a hard job.
Are any of the original plants still growing here?
Yes. Right behind us we have the resurrection lilies. They come up in the spring just as leaves and die off. And then in the end of July and August, they send up a stem, and they usually have 4 or 5 lily blossoms on them. They are in their original place, right where they're coming up now.
So have the gardens changed over the years?
Yes, we tend to plant different assortments of flowers in different beds, and we try to take pictures so we know what we had the year before, and if we liked it, we can do it again maybe in another bed.
Then do you have annuals or perennials or both?
We have both here, annuals and perennials.
Who decides what you're going to plant?
The board members, individual people. We have what we call a planting festival in May, and we encourage anybody and everybody to come, and we usually do that the week before Memorial Day. A lot of them are Susan's relatives, so we give them free rein. They can choose the flowers, and if there's someone that hasn't been here before and wants help, us board members will give them ideas.
Then do you start the plants yourselves or do you buy them in?
We buy them in. We do not plant them, except the zinnias. Our one lady saves the seed in the fall. She lays them out in her shed and dries them and then packages them up by color and brings them back in the spring, and she and another lady plant them again. They plant them by seed, and the zinnia seeds aren't planted deep. They rake up the ground, sprinkle the seeds out, cover it with a little bit of ground and water it.
Then who all helps with the planting?
We have a board of directors, which most of us work with the garden, and some don't care for the garden, so they do the teas in the cottage. So we all have our positions that we like to do. And then this year, we have several ladies that come up and take care of certain beds because it's too much for just us 4 or 5 board members that do it.
Who does all the mowing and the weeding?
We had a greenhouse here, and the owner has 2 sons, and they do the mowing and the weed eating and trim the hedge.
And then do you get any other young people or groups to help you too?
Yes, we have the FFA boys and girls from the high school come up in the spring. They turn over the beds for us and take out all the rubbish and the tree branches and whatever. And then in the fall, they come back when the gardens are dried up and clean them off for the next spring.
Do you try to have plants that are in color throughout the season?
We do. Sometimes it's kind of difficult with the perennials, but then we try to plant the annuals in with the perennials so there's color. Well, we've got the peonies for the spring. We've tried daffodils and tulips, but the squirrels always get the bulbs. And the deer love our garden. We used to have a rose garden, but they ate the roses. And they've done a pretty good job on our hedge here too, so we have to spray the rabbit and deer for that.
Do you have to divide some of the perennials every so often?
We have. We've divided the peonies, a lot of the irises. We like to give away extras because we can't use them all. So there's people that will take them and use them at their home.
Are there some special features here in the garden also, besides just the plants?
Yes, we have a shed back here that the FFA club built for us one year. And then we have a wishing well up at the top of the hill that one of the college classes built. I think that was in 1932. And there's also a gazebo up there that was built in honor of someone's anniversary. And then in the other garden, we have an arbor, which is covered with grapevines. That has been remade when we started the garden again in 1989. And then there's another little gazebo over there that was built in honor of someone. Some other features in our garden is a fish pond, which an English class made. And we had to refurbish that because it leaked. And we now have a rubber lining in it instead of cement. And then there was also a larger fish pond up here that was very deep, and we were afraid with kids coming up here, we didn't want any liability, so we turned it into a flower bed. We filled it with dirt, and it's a flower bed now. There's also a bird bath that Mr. Shea, or Professor Shea, made in the one garden over there. And he was kind of advanced for his time there because he had put in a sprinkler system through the bird bath. And that's how he watered that bed there.
Tell me a little bit more about how you redid the garden in 1989.
In 1989, South Dakota Centennial was giving out $5,000 grants. So we applied and we got a grant for $5,000 and we started the garden again. The first weekend we worked at it, we had 4-H kids, school kids, Sunday school classes, anybody that wanted to help. And we took out 25 pickup loads of garbage and tree branches. And when we came back and looked, you wouldn't have known that we had even been here. So it was a work in progress.